Okay, I want to show you a couple things I did. What I did was I went ahead and I rounded this off. I put the arms in like we talked about before and did both sides, trying to get all the rough marks off the carving because I don't do any sanding. I just go from this point to painting. The feet is going to be a little different. What we're going to do, they have little pads on their feet. They have one large pad like you see. Oh, I'm sorry, let's go back to something else here. This is kind of hard to scoop out, and if it is, you have to just kind of take your knife. See how I'm dragging my knife across it? That just makes it clean up much easier, okay? I use that a lot in areas where I feel resistance. Then a straight cut across, sometimes slicing it. In that slicing motion, you can get a lot nicer look to it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put a little lip on the jar. So, about 1/8 of an inch down, we're going to go across the jar, just like so. Alright? We're just going to put a little notch underneath. And we'll round this up a little bit. And the top portion just a tad. We're going to get rid of that hard edge here for a second. Okay, now we're going to dig that out a little bit to make it look like it's an empty jar. So what we need to do is take our knife along the body here, about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge here. We're going to just kind of stick our knife in there. You might be able to do it with a knife. You don't need a V-tool. You don't need a gouge. I thought maybe I needed the gouge. The gouge I can get a little deeper. See how far I have that tip of the knife in there? It's quite a little bit of a ways. And then just take your knife and at an angle and just kind of scoop it out. Alright, you want to be careful you don't dig it into the body. You can do it that way, or you can use an already made gouge here and be able to just gouge that out a little bit. That gouge is not sharp. Let me get a different one. Here, okay. There we go. Kind of work your way all the way to the side here. It's kind of hard because the vase goes in, or the jar goes in. So you want to work it a little bit. I'm going to wet it just a tad, make it a little easier. And I'm going to get a little different gouge out here. That one's too small. Let me see if I have another one here. Here's one. Might be able to dig it out a little further. Okay, here's a real small one. It's a I don't know, that's a G2. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to work my way around here and dig this out. Now when you go to dig this out, you want to be very, very careful that you do not pull your tool out too far, that you dent up the brim top of the jar. Okay, just kind of take your time to go in there. I think it looks much better if you can get this stuff out of there, and it just gives it some depth. Alright, so you round off the jar a little bit like I've been doing here. Alright, we got to put the eyes, finish up the eyes yet. Alright, and then we're going to dig this out, and then we're going to put the word honey across it. Alright, so this is pretty well finished, and the arms are finished. The eyes need to go in, so what we want to do is we want to put a very small little eye in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go at the top here. I'm going to just put a stop cut. Alright, first. Then I'm going to come across, come back up, and I'm going to come across and just dig that out a little bit. Okay, now you can leave it like that. If you don't want to put the whole eye in, you don't need to. This will pass just as well. Just making a little bit of a indentation there. Looks like he's, but I'm gonna try to match these up a little further. Alright. This is a tricky part. I'm gonna tell you, if it makes me a little anxious to do these because you know, you don't have a lot of room for error here. I'm gonna, you know, that's an honest assessment with these. When you do things that are smaller, and the eyes, you know, getting them even is the toughest part. So one looks a little off, don't get too upset with it. Alright, now you can leave it like that if you want, okay? That will pass the way it is. Or if you want to put a little black dot in the middle, you can do that. So if you're not comfortable with what I'm doing here and you don't, and you've gotten this far and you say, man, I really don't want to do anything more, what I would recommend, two things: either leave it as it is or go to a practice piece, and I do that often. Take an end of one and try whatever you're going to try to do in your piece, and then that way you're not going to ruin your original. You'll have some practice beforehand. Alright, so like having a practice run. I'm just going to go down a little further here. Alright, now the next thing, if you want to take it a step further, we need the little beady eye in there. Now you can do it a couple of different ways. You can take a little a gouge and push that in there and then make it nice and round, but I would not do that unless your gouge is really super sharp. What we want to do is we want to make an outline of that eye. Okay, I know that's very close to that nose, but that's just the way it is. Alright, let's go up a little higher on this one. Just a little tad higher. Yep, there we go. Take your time with it. Do not rush when it comes to doing the eyes. You know, try not to rush. I'm going to take that eye a little further higher and bring it down and around. Alright, so I'm going to put the one eye in. I'll do the other eye offline. So what you want to do is you want to take a real sharp knife, and whatever is your sharpest knife, I'm going to hone one up right now because I need it super sharp to do this part of the project. We're almost out of time. I'll come back and we'll do that eye. Alright, we'll be right back.